Hi everyone, my name is Jade Samantha Maclou. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, I'm currently competing for the title of Ms. Galaxy Australia. I've been competing in pageants for about the last 10 to 15 years of my life, on and off, and for many of the systems out there. So although I'm not an expert, I do have a fair bit of experience in this space. And I'm excited to talk to you about the 2021 competition. I think things are heating up, and it's really interesting to sort of watch contestants start to break away. Well, that's what I think anyway. I'm going to give you today my top 5 contestants I think will nail the interview and onstage question part of the competition. As we know, this is super key to who gets the final crown on their head, as this person's going to go on to represent not only the organisation, but their country and the rest of the universe, and they're going to advocate for change, hopefully, in their community that does some sort of positive impact. So I think it's really important to see what they're advocating for. What are the causes close to their heart? What do they stand for? And it definitely sets away the mice from the men, so to speak. You can definitely see the contestants that have really put a lot of thought into how they're going to change the world, and contestants who just want world peace. So, kicking off at number 5, I'm going to go with Beatrice, who is Miss Philippines. I got quite a lot of flack for not including her in my last video. Actually, most of these contestants weren't in my last video, and I'm still getting hate messages about it. I didn't want to include her and a few of the other contestants because I just feel like it's almost too obvious, and it's a little boring. So I like to go for the dark horses. That's just me. But Beatrice, she's a great candidate. She is a Navy Marines reservist. She works alongside the military. She's a proud bisexual, and she's the first proud member of the LGBTQ community to have won the Miss Universe Philippines title. So that's a pretty huge barrier she's breaking through there, an incredible pathway that she's giving the rest of her country and the rest of the world to follow in her footsteps. She's also an advocate for youth empowerment and has been working alongside children in contact with the law. And there's an operation there called Second Chance. So it's giving those juvenile offenders a second chance at being rehabilitated into the community. So I think there's some really amazing causes there that she'll be able to speak on. And having that background will give her that sort of comfortable nature to be able to handle an onstage question. Now, going into number 4, I am going to go with Miss India. Miss India, her mother is a very successful gynecologist who broke through the patriarchy norms in India. To be able to be a gynecologist is quite difficult. And she's worked alongside her mother addressing women's health and menstrual hygiene issues in India as well. So I think that's a really important cause that sort of maybe people aren't as aware of. It's quite difficult to get a hold of those hygiene products in some countries, and also it's pretty difficult to afford that if you're trying to just afford food and clean water and basic other necessities. So a huge issue there that I think she can draw upon. Be interesting to see how she speaks on that in interview, and also how she handles the onstage question. Going into number 3 spot, Miss Paraguay, Nadia. We know she's fabulous, incredibly beautiful, just show-stoppingly beautiful, Nadia. Obviously a model, but she is also an advocate for domestic violence, which is a cause very close to my heart personally. I'm an ambassador for Worthy Australia, which is an Australian charity that assists women and children in crisis due to domestic violence. So it's a huge cause close to my heart. I think it's one that some people sort of aren't aware of until they're in that situation themselves, how scary it can be to not feel safe in your own home. So I think that's a wonderful cause to be an activist for. She also has had a number of health issues herself. She went blind and lost her hearing on the left side of her body at one stage of her life. So she's had to overcome quite a lot personally. I think that resilience is really important to get you through pageant week. It's quite a grueling, people don't quite realise unless you've done it. It's a long week and it's hard. So I think drawing on that resilience of overcoming some really difficult things in her life will be a huge asset to her. I have no doubt Paraguay is going to do well. Coming in second for me, I'm going to say Vietnam. Love her, as you know from my last video. I think she's fabulous. She's a very strong advocate for women empowerment, and she's proudly co-founded Spreading the Love Foundation, which helps disadvantaged students continue to practice their education dreams. She also helps out with community healthcare, including HIV and AIDS programs. And she was part of the COVID-19 Youth Task Force to assist medical professionals during the pandemic. So some pretty massive causes there that she's a part of and that she's working on. It's good to see that she has substance and she's not just a pretty face. Now I want to go into my number one spot to nail the interview and onstage question part of the competition. I'm going to go again with Miss Belgium. I know I featured her in my last video. And Belgium isn't really one of those countries that people watch when it comes to Miss Universe. And that's not to be offensive to Belgium. They're just not one that places every time. You know, you get your Puerto Rico, Colombia, Paraguay, United States, Australia, United Kingdom, and they're all kind of in rotation in that top 10 often. Belgium kind of isn't. So really interesting. Cadist, I really hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, has one of the most incredible stories that I've ever read personally. I'll drop the video link below. It was actually sent to me by one of her fans, which was really lovely. Please send me anything that you want me to react to or watch or cover. So Cadist, her mother got very ill when she was 7 years old. And she grew up in Ethiopia. So she was born in Ethiopia. So she is Miss Belgium. However, she was born in Ethiopia. When her mother got sick, her dad sort of took in with another woman who didn't really care for them. Cadist had to provide for herself and her younger siblings and would walk an hour each way to collect food and water. Her stepmom would throw her scraps of food covered in ants. Her mum eventually did pass away. It's a heartbreaking story. And then she was left in an orphanage, pretty much left for dead, really, in a lot of ways. It's something that I, having lived a very lucky life, I can't even imagine what she's gone through. And it's an incredible tale of resilience and hope that she is even here. You kind of just think, gosh, one little blink and turn of events and she wouldn't be here right now. Luckily, she was adopted by a lovely Belgian family and has lived in Belgium ever since and now has obviously gone on to be Miss Universe Belgium, but quite an incredible journey and story to overcome. And in the video, if you watch it below, she goes back and reconnects with her father. And I think that's a really powerful moment. She obviously advocates for children in similar situations and children in poverty and things like that. So there's a lot to go through there. She also survived a bomb attack. This woman is absolutely incredible. Not to say that they all aren't. They all are. That's why they're here. But definitely, if you have a few minutes, check out Miss Belgium's story. I'd really encourage you to do so. So there you have it. That's my top 5 picks to nail the interview and onstage question part of the competition. I think it's so important if you're a contestant to have one of those causes that is very close to your heart. Choose something that you can be passionate about. Choose something about that you want to change in the community or that you want to bring awareness to. That's what this is about. So if you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Please subscribe. I think I have like 18 subscribers, so please subscribe so I'm not lonely. Yeah, and let me know what you want to talk about next. What else is coming up? I believe the contestants are just going through orientation now. I will do a national costume video, so look out for that one. Thank you so much. Bye.